everybody. Happy March. Happy March. I hope you guys are doing well. Wow, it's been literally okay. So, if we're thinking about movement challenge frame of reference, it's been a month exactly since we ended the movement challenge. So, hey y'all, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? Mocha is here. Mocha is here per usual. I'm glad to be on here. Glad to check in with you guys. It's March 1st, so I was like, you know what? It's a Tuesday. It's the first of the month. Let me hop on and just see, how I can be of help to you guys and just do a regroup to help to help you guys with some of your goals and some of the things that you want to do. So we are tapping in. I'm going to keep this very precise and very short because I know this is in the middle of the day, in the middle of the week. But I want to talk about common mistakes with goal setting. So the first of the month, the end of a month, the first of the month, the end of a week, the first of the week, whatever have you, is always a time where people naturally like to do something, regroup, recharge, reset, that sort of thing, which is perfectly fine in my book. I'm not one of those people who looks negatively at people who do New Year's resolutions necessarily. You know what I mean? It's all about intention. It's all about understanding the larger process that has to happen in order to make some of those goals and some of those habits stick. So we're going to talk about the 3 common mistakes that I have just worked with people on. I'm very familiar with, both personally and professionally, because this is life, right? And then I'm going to give you some ways to fix it, and then that's it. And I hope it's going to be helpful to you in starting your month off right. So 3 common mistakes when setting goals that I am work with clients on and can imagine that maybe some of you are navigating is the first one being that your goals are too vague. Okay, so we hear a lot about intention setting and goal setting, but we kind of have these lofty concepts of just being like, mine for a period there was, I just need to get my life together. Okay, well, that's really vague, Kristen. What does that mean? You know what I'm saying? So being vague, I think, is probably the number one. All of these are really batting for number one, very close together, but that is a big one. Is how specific can you really narrow down what it is that you're trying to do? So you have this overarching experience or feeling or way of doing things that you want to experience, but what does that actually look like? So when your goals are too vague, I want to be happier, or I want to be more active, or I want to cope with life better, or I want to improve my communication. Those are good starting places for it, but honestly, it's going to be about getting more specific and narrowing that focus. And so, if you want to be happier, what about your life now what does that look like? Okay, so being happier is a state of being, but how would you know if you're a happier person or not, right? That's where you start to, I want to do things that I enjoy on a regular basis. You see how that's different than I just want to be happy? Because I want to be happy is just, it's like, well, I don't see any happy around. I don't know where we're going to find that, right? But saying that I'm going to do something that brings me joy more often, and even that I would say needs to have some sort of specific number, frequency, something to shoot for. Once a week. Once a week, I'm going to do something that I enjoy. Once a week, I'm going to reach out to a friend and check in. Those are the ways that you begin to build a happier life. And so going into a month and saying I'm just going to be happier without those narrowed, specific objectives is going to be difficult because it's going to be hard for you to have a roadmap as to what you're going to be doing. And then also it's going to leave room for error as far as discipline and accountability in doing those things. Okay. Number two is that your goals are too extreme. All right. First of the month, getting my life together. Oh, I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And it's like, whoa. Let's be realistic about what you have going on. Let's set you up for success, okay? There are so many things, maybe, that we could be doing that would make our quality of lives better, that would help us be more efficient, help us experience more rest and joy in our lives. But we really have to realize that we don't live in a vacuum. Like, there's other things that are going on that are going to factor into that. And so if you make your goals too extreme, you're really just setting yourself up to feel like a failure at some point along the way, or you're setting yourself up to be so burned out and trying to reach that outcome that you don't even want to do it anymore. You know what I mean? Exercise really kind of comes to exercise and nutrition actually both come to mind with this one, because it's someone will say, okay, I'm going to go on this like extreme diet of some sort. When I think of extreme, I think of anything that like cuts out a whole item out of your food group, like, you know, the ketos and the low carbs. It's like sometimes people just go all in with that type of diet for a month, for 2 months, for 3 months. Someone might even go vegan. You might go this, you might go that. And it's not to say that you can't choose the lifestyle and diet that you want. It's about being realistic about what that process actually looks like. Okay, so anybody, for example, who has gone vegan, I have not. I just know people who have. It was not an overnight, first of the month decision. Okay, it was a slow process of getting adjusted to a new palate as far as taste goes, a new variety of foods to choose from and have access to. It was a longer process than just to say I'm cutting it all out starting today and then figuring it out. So if your goals are too extreme, you might be setting yourself up to be resentful at the lifestyle that you're pursuing, to be burned out, to experience injury, to experience nutrient deficiencies when it comes to diet and that sort of thing. So you really want to make sure that the goals that you're setting are not so unrealistic that you end up backing out of them, or they end up overtaking you, or anything in between there along the way. Make sure that you give yourself grace. Make sure you realize this is a long-term process. And so I can focus on one facet of this type of goal this month, get that under my belt, maybe even do 2 or 3 months of that, get that under my belt, and then I can move forward into the next stage. Okay, the last one, and it goes without saying, maybe this is no surprise to you guys, but one of the other most common mistakes in goal setting is that there's really no action plan. Now this ties into the other two. All right, once you narrow it down, once you narrow your goal down and it's not so vague and broad and ambiguous, and then once you realize that it can't be so extreme in its essence that it's not doable, then we got to figure out what the plan is. And this is usually where we draw a blank. We're like, I don't really know what I'm gonna figure that out. Right? Most times we're like, I'm gonna figure that out. I gotta figure out what that looks like. So someone will come to me, with a plan in therapy, for a plan for coping better. And we'll narrow it down, coping to deal with my depression. I want to do, some more journaling. I want to get outside and get some sunlight, those sorts of things. And then I'm like, okay, so when are we going to start that? Today? I got to journal today. Wait, you mean like what time am I going to go on a walk every day because I need the sunlight? I didn't think about all that. Exactly, right? So it's like you really got to think about what's the plan? What time? The when, where, what, how. It's just like when your friends, invite you to go somewhere. Okay, where are we going? What time are we meeting? What clothes am I wearing? I mean, it's all of those details. That's the plan of action, right? And so it's the same thing with your goals. So whatever you're hoping to experience more of in March, going through those prompts. When am I going to do it? How often am I going to do it? How? In what ways am I going to carry this out? Where? What do I need in order to make sure that this happens? You know what I mean? So those are my top three. We said your goals are too vague is a common mistake. Your goals are too extreme, and then there's no action plan. And then your solutions are to narrow your focus, okay? Be realistic about what you have going on and factor all that into your initial goals to get started, realizing that this is a long-term, a long-term journey and you can take your time. And then the last one is getting very serious and having the accountability around what that plan actually looks like. And maybe I'll even hop on another time and go into how to handle the obstacles that typically come. And that should be a part of your action plan too, because life's going to happen. I'm going to say that I'm going to go on a walk every day at noon and then it's going to rain. Okay, so that's an obstacle. What am I doing, right? So those are the types of things that we have to make sure that we plan for in that action plan. But maybe that should be another live. I don't know if I need to go into that right now. I'll probably hop on another time and answer that. But I'm going to start doing these lives a little bit more, you guys. And so I'm always going to try to give a heads up. I'm thinking maybe Tuesdays at noon. I could, Tuesdays, midday, I could plan to do these. And I want to answer your all's questions. I would love to answer your questions. I'm going to check in the chat and see if there's anything coming up here. Sometimes it's a little delayed and when I see the comments. So if there are any that I don't see, my apologies. I'm going to check here. See that? All right. Hi, you guys. So when I do these lives in the future, feel free to jump on and give me your feedback or give me your questions so that I can help you guys to be successful. But that is it, you all. All right. You got your 3 common mistakes. You got your 3 solutions. And then, of course, feel free to reach out to me if you need, additional support and help in carrying something like this out over long term. It is totally okay if it's not something you can do within yourself. Most of us need some sort of support or community to make changes. Otherwise, everybody would do it, right? So thank you all for this time. I hope you all are doing well. And I will be back very, very soon with another live. Let me know what topics you'd like for me to address, and I will see you later. Bye.